And we are live. Hello, everyone. As usual, I am 3-4 minutes late because I'm trying to solve my tech issue, all the tech issue that keeps coming to me. And I'm hoping that it doesn't echo. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, it's all set. I'm becoming better at it. Um, Sorry for 5 minutes delay. I'm always trying to hide all my background stuff with my other laptop, but my laptop refuses to show up because it wants me to show up like mother, the baby chair, the Legos, the drawings, the bottle, the ironing board. I'm just introducing you to my background. This is my office, but my kids just love being here, and I just love that, honestly, apart from all the jokes that I keep creating about it. So, welcome, Brittany. And it's a very long due interview that we needed to do. As I always say, that women who live their stories tell their story the best. Brittany has an incredible journey. We will allow her to pick and choose the journey she wants to speak about, because when women speak about their own journeys, all the passion, all the emotion comes out, her achievements, her defeats, her wins, everything comes out. But before that, I met Brittany right at the beginning when I decided to step in the online world. Today, all of you know me, but at that time, I was this person who was just trying to figure out what this online world is. And I had a very little baby at that time in my hand, about 5-6 months, when Brittany came in my life. And then I worked with her for some time. And, she I think I was almost for a year working with her before she was helping me figure out what this whole online world was. And then she became a mom. And I wanted to bring her back here because, you always miss your old, people who teach you, who show you the path sometimes of the things that you don't know. So Brittany had helped me a lot on my online presence and how do I do it. And I don't know what I used to speak to her about because I've totally changed now. She was telling me that we should go back and listen to what you used to say when I actually entered the world. So Brittany is a coach and a very, 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 very courageous coach, I must say. But a lot of love. She does a lot of self-development and she keeps bringing her people into a better world. So Brittany, welcome. This is what I can go on. But I want you to introduce yourself. Start the story from where you want to, because this is all mom space. And the idea is that you've a mom become recently 6 months. Scarlett is 6 months, 8 months, 8 months. Yeah, I don't know why I thought she was 3 months, but Scarlett is 8 months now, and how Scarlett came into our existence in our circle and all that story. So Brittany, the stage is yours. Let's talk about you as a mom first, and then maybe how you're helping other mothers to come in and to coach them now, and you can relate to them even more. Always you had mothers, you were coaching mothers always, but now I think the relatability has changed even more. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, and I mean, it has for sure. And, even with you talking about and hello, everyone. I was thinking about how when you and I first connected and when you first came in, your story was that you wanted to help people with photography. And we talked about selfies and you're like, no, like it's self-portraits. I want to talk about self-portraits. And you were going to do a program and a course. And we talked about that. And then, your business took on like a life of its own. And I just remember, I think it was about June that you made the decision that you were like, you said to me, I want to try this thing and I want to, take portraits and I wanted it to be for moms. And, obviously since then your business has just transformed. And I think that's one of the things that I love most about the women that I work with. There's some coaches, people will hire them and they just want to make money like right now. And a lot of the women that come into my world, it's like when you actually own the true thing of what it is that you want to do, not that thing that you're wondering, like you're thinking, oh, I can make money with this. It's like that deep burning passion inside of you. It's like when you really own that piece of you, that's when I see women really become successful. When they're trying to go the way of the instant gratification of like, this is how I'm supposed to make money, that's usually when it takes longer. And I know even for myself, when I really owned my brand of Make Life Your Bitch. There's a type of woman who's like very drawn to that. She's very drawn to the idea of like unleashing her inner rebel, that like when everyone else has left, she goes right. Like with that piece of my brand, I've really owned that. And like, even just that like little tiny shift for me has made such a difference in my business, where I stopped trying to be everything for everyone and I just owned who I was. And so it's been really interesting watching your transformation, my own transformation, because I know when I first started working with moms, a lot of the moms that I worked with were very driven, and they like, I've worked with very driven moms, but there'd be times that I'd be like, can you just like give yourself an hour to do your business, so that like, you know, and like, I don't want to say it's like, put your child away for an hour. And now it's like, there's such a deeper level of understanding behind it. I've been able to totally restructure my business so I'm not in front of a computer all the time, but it was something that I never, you don't know until you're actually a mom in front of a computer. But I do remember, because you and I are 11 and a half hours difference. And I remember you and I talking, and you would show up to the calls for our calls, and they would be like in the middle of the night for you, or like really early morning. And I know you would never come on like screen, but you were always there listening. Like, your dedication and determination to like making a difference in the world was so big. So
I taking from there. Uh, I still tell people that I want to do self portrait. It still comes back to me even now after 2 years of work, that and doing such a big book called Self Portrait Dreams. People still tell me selfies is what it is, and I'm just trying to still break. So that part is still getting, it's still work in progress. But it's so beautiful to say that when children come in your life, they come here to teach you so much. And when for me, why am I celebrating you here today is that when you used to do your power statement and you used to mute, and this is, I like everybody had to mute and tell their power statement, and I could always, like, because I'm a curious cat. It doesn't look like on my face I'm a rebel but I am a little rebel and a curious cat. I could always see I want a baby in one of your, like, the word baby would keep coming. Then I would look at you and I'm like, she is in her power statement saying that. So when it actually happened, it was like a very celebrating moment for me to know, yeah, it happened and she manifested it. How was that journey of wanting it? Like, yes, babies happen. Yes, all of us want it. But just to create the baby you want and to have the name Scarlett given to her and knowing that that's what I want. And Scarlett is your avatar's name as well. So how is Scarlett come in the picture? And with all the, I think both of us have grown a lot in the last 2.5 years tremendously in so many folds that we've like done it. So I want to know what it is, how is Scarlett manifested, and that story I want to know for these moms, because all the time children don't come suddenly. They sometimes are manifested and they just become the way just you want them to be, and then the
mhm.
embracing is very different.
Yeah. And so, you know, when you and I first started working together, I was very business strategy focused. Like, everything was strategy. And I've always had been intrigued about manifestation. So I mean, I was that person where I read the book The Secret. I think it destroys and ruins all of our ideas of manifestation, then we have to unlearn it. But you know, it was one of those things that so the thing that I had all you ladies do was, for 2 minutes, hands on your hips, looking at yourself and saying I am statements. And now I've turned it to, it's I know I am, because there's just more power behind like, I know I am this, and it's speaking to that woman you're becoming. And so, yeah, it would be like, I know I am a mom, or I am a mom. And it would always be like within my stuff. And, you know, it was about June of 2020. Yes, because she was 2021, June of 2021, that I actually did timeline therapy with someone. And every time they would come every time they would have me like go into the timeline, and they would do like different emotions like anger, and then you would work through that like through hypnosis, and then they at the end of whatever you said, you'd pull out the lessons, and they would say like, look into your future, and is this feeling still there? And every time I would look into my future, I remember I would be like on this boardwalk with this little girl like running around. And so there was that. And then there was a couple times I've seen my boyfriend like holding a little baby boy as well. And we're like on the beach, and it's like me and her are playing in the water, and we have like this little baby boy. And so it's funny because when everyone said to me, they're like, I think it's a boy. Like everybody thought it was a boy. And I'm like, no, like she's a girl. Like I already know it. I've seen her. I've told my boyfriend, I'm like, our next kid's going to be a boy. And he's like, and I've had people, even yesterday, we were talking about it with some women, and they're like, Brittany, like you can't know that. And I'm like, no, like I do. And so, I mean, I do a lot of like spiritual work now, obviously, like I have manifestation programs. But with that, like I've been able to like, I did a sound bath. Have you heard of like the sound bath with the singing bowls?
Sound bath, yeah.
Okay. So it's like this thing that I go to every now and then, and it's like a meditative, and the girl plays the singing bowls. And I would, when I was pregnant, I would like feel Scarlett like running around dancing. And last time I went, Scarlett actually came with me, and I felt like this little boy. What?
She started dancing there. Scarlett came.
No, she's not old enough. But she was very quiet the whole time. Like she didn't like make a bunch of sounds, like anything like that. But I felt like this little boy come down and like sit on the mat and like very calm, like, like spiritually felt it. And he was just very calm. And I was like, oh, so our boy's going to be calm, unlike her, who's like this wild child. So yeah, but like with the name Scarlett, I always thought that I wouldn't be that person who had a name picked out in advance. Like I thought we'd have a list of names. And for me, it was just like, I knew that was her name, and I was very drawn to it. And then I was like redoing my aligned buyer, my avatar for my clients, and that name came through again. And I was like, but that's what I want to name my daughter. And it was just like, no, it's like Scarlett, like the name of it is just like that powerful, rebellious woman who's just like, she wants to be independent and be able to say like, I did this. I didn't need a man to help me do it, or it's okay to have a man by my side, but like I did this for me versus like doing it for everyone else, even our children, right? Like, and I think that's really where that Scarlett piece came from. And I mean, her name's Scarlett Citrina, and citrina is named after the citrine stone. It's like the Spanish female version of it. So yeah, that's how her name came to be.
Beautiful. And um, what I'm seeing you right now is a total transformation. And in spite of whatever you've gone through in life, I'm just seeing you sharing so much happiness, and it's so beautiful to see that, Brittany, that the happiness that you are celebrating with this child coming and the next one who's coming. And
And I'm not pregnant right now, just
I
so
know,
people know. Right now.
I know, but the next one who's going to come, and that's why this conversation is very important, because we've come into time, sometimes we just think children happen to us, or it just happened, and very rarely we are pausing to want to have kids. And that's why there's so much struggle that happens, because you're not mentally ready to have two kids, three kids. And that struggle, you're always feeling, oh my God, when will I get out of it? What will happen? And when you manifest a child, when you want a child, and when you get the child that you want, then it's totally different. And I see you now showing up with her, and I'm sure it's difficult. I am absolutely sure it's absolutely the same struggle that all the mothers go through in their own way. But I see and I feel you so much more settled rather than unsettled as a person. So that's another congratulations on that, because very few mothers can. I'm just deleting the madness of raising. That's the physical part, and that nobody nobody can take away from us. That's the part of raising them. But so So now that you're working with women and now that you're showing up, what is it that you're bringing to mothers now after you've become a mother?
Yeah. And like, one of the things that I just want to touch on that you said, there's this one thing that's been coming up because I'm rebuilding the Abundance Codes program, and I just completed it the other day. And one of the things that came through as I was working through on that program was the idea that, like, everybody wants to manifest something and it to happen like right now. And the message came through of like, what if the universe was rearranging things in your life so that that desire can come to you? So it's like sometimes we want something right now and something else happens and we're like, why? Like, why is this happening? And it's like maybe the universe is just making wave and like for that thing to come into your life. There's some things that need to be removed and shifted and transformed. And so, when it comes to my business being one of them, um, I had to restructure my business. And I used to do a lot of private coaching and sitting in front of a screen a lot. And today, I don't. I've shifted a lot of things to group programs so that I have structure in my life. I give myself permission that it's okay if she's making noise in the background. If I really enjoy Voxer with my clients, like the ones who I do coach behind the scenes, like everything, like when it comes to group stuff, even private stuff, everything's through Voxer now, because then I feel like I can talk to people like and not have to, I don't want to say have clothes on, but like, you know what I mean? Be all done up. But even that, like, when I did have my Facebook group, which I've paused now, just because, again, giving myself permission that like, I can't be everywhere. And where's the best way for me to show up to impact the most women's lives, instead of thinking with social media, we need to spread ourselves so thin.
Right.
And giving myself permission that if she is with me and I'm on a live video and I'm holding her, then so be it. And I
Right.
know when I started doing that, a lot of women messaged me and they're like, thank you for giving me permission to not have to have this like perfect cookie cutter life behind me. And it looked like, to actually like bring my child into, my business and stuff. And some women don't like that just because of the fear around it. But for me, I was very open to it. The transformation of like how to shift your business into being like to showing up for you, allowing it to shift with your life. Like you can still run a business as a mom. And it's just, there's just little pivotal things that I changed within my business that has made a huge difference.
Yeah. And that itself is a very big win because it's I mean when I launched such a big thing and if you see me going down this, I'm trying to get people to come into the live comments because I'm going to share this with the moms group anyway. Um, I paused for 2.5 months. And, like I was right here at the top of when the launch happened and women came from all over the world. The what I created was so high, but when I stepped off the stage, my children needed me because I'd given devoted 6 months and taken some time off them. It's taken me 3 months to now even get back. And that's the permission I've given myself that, yes, like from there, if I actually started running, I would be flying in my career in many ways. And I should not do this and I should not do that. But I dropped down straight to zero when my son said, you told me that when you're off stage, you're all mine. And I said, yeah, I'm all yours. I'm all yours. And this is the juggle that we have to do and we must dream. But the adjustment you're talking about, the FOMO that we have, that if we don't do it all now, we've created it, we've made it big, it's going to get dismantled. That whole FOMO is also making us not present with our children. We're not present with our kids at that time. We are just like somewhere else. They are playing with us, and then we turn around and tell them sometimes, I'm with you all the time. What else do you need? But you're not mentally there with them
Yeah,
because you're not
exactly.
given your permission to step down and pause. And that's the beautiful part, that you've told yourself, nothing will happen. I'll still be a great coach. Just a little slow down is all right. So that was a beautiful piece about.
Well, even for myself, like, I include her. in the things now, you know, when it comes to like my manifestation practices. Like, I mean, she's 8 months old and she does my evening routine with me. If she does her, like the I am statements, I'm holding her like in the mirror and stuff. Right. Um, you know, and I mean, like some women are like, I'm not able to go for a shower. I'm like, I don't know. I make my kid live around, like go around my life. Like she plays on the floor while I shower, and so be it. When it comes to like what is it? Almost 9 o'clock here. She's still sleeping. And everyone's like, how's your kid still sleeping? I'm like, man, she sleeps till like 10:30. Like it's fine. But again, like she stays up a bit later because that's just allowing her to evolve with my lifestyle as well. But exactly like like I was saying, like, you know, when we make those shifts, like like with the universe shifting things for us, being okay with whatever comes in, you know, with yourself, where you said like I had to give that time off. And you know, for me, if everything when she was born was absolutely perfect, I probably wouldn't have made the shifts that I have within my business. But when she was born, she had a lip and a tongue tie, and I was trying to breastfeed, and it looked like she was latched. It looked like everything was good, but like literally, like she would be on my breast for like 3 hours and then just cry and cry. And I was like, I remember like being in my bedroom one day and my boyfriend coming in, and I was just like crying. And he's like, what? And he's like, doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, she just won't stop crying and she won't stop eating. And we ended up finding out, because I'm very much I think when people say the word colic, I think it's total bullshit. I think it's a lazy way of saying your kid cries and I don't know why, or your kid has gas and I don't know why, and I don't want to find out. So for me, I had a brain tumor when I was 13. I've always been that person. It's like, let's figure out why this is the way it is. And so like, I'm very curious like you. Um, and so with her, I ended up going and looking to be like, and asking people and researching to find out like what was wrong with like what was going on. And I ended up giving her one of those Dr. Brown's bottles that like she controls the flow. And it took her 45 minutes to drink half an ounce. And I was like, okay, this is the problem. And so she had a lip and a tongue tie, so she wasn't like flicking back like the milk. And it was treacherous for like a couple months, like in the beginning, because you're just like, is this how life is supposed to be? But from the beginning, like in those times, like my boyfriend would get really frustrated because he's like a new dad and he's like, but for me, like the one thing I would always tell myself is I will never get this moment back. Right. Like even today when she like, you know, is upset with something and she's crying and you're like, I don't know how to calm my child. It's like, I just like take that moment for myself and I'm like, I will never get this moment back.
That's a beautiful way of seeing it as well. And also, being a mom of two and being a baby photographer, kids change all the time. They're constantly changing what they're doing today. They don't want to do it tomorrow. You know, like my 9-year-old always who understood emotions and meditation and all that, and today he just finds it like total. So, you know, but what I see is that when you are putting in the effort, you can bring them back. And you know, it's a solving thing. It's something that you're solving and then you're evolving, because you're constantly have to study. I don't today's mom really needs to study parenting. She has to understand her child. It's unlike earlier, because she had a sort of support at that time. You know, they were extended village was like that and everything. But I'm firm believer, like, you know, there were some things that were coming, and I got off the stage and I went into a course of parenting because I was unable to handle my 9-year-old and 3-year-old, and I knew that I was messing it up with some communication that is not going all right, and it is messing them up. Even if I was very great till that point, and this so super achiever mother. So I think that curiosity is something that we need to feel rather than feeling that that's it, this is what it is, and somehow this should just go away, or they should just grow up and somehow it should just pass, and that's it. But bringing broken people in this world has to stop. We have been bringing a lot of broken kids, and they're bringing more broken kids in the future. And that's what I love about what you're saying about curiosity, because there's no harm studying the people who are studying children, like going up to them and asking for help and saying that I don't understand what's happening. My
Mhm.
child apparently also cried. The second one, like, God, at exactly 5:30 would just start crying, and that damaged my older one because I had to keep him away because he would look at my older one and just start crying even more, like 4 or 5 hours. So I had to tell him that go away, and that was COVID period, lockdown. So the older one is still today thinks that you are pushing me away. He didn't understand at 6 that suddenly why is my mother pushing me away. So there are so many layers that all of the mothers are constantly doing, but I just feel your curiosity saves you, and thank God it did. And then you could save her from that, and rather than just the cookie cutter solution that this is it, what it is, and
Well, I mean, I'm not cookie cutter with anything,
exactly.
but I mean, I think it's giving ourselves permission to get curious, to learn more, that we don't have to have it all together. Women today, there's so much, I mean, everyone listening to this knows this, but there's so many expectations of us. We're expected to work now, right? To be two income hold like families, to watch the kids, to clean the house, to cook, do all the things that before that was your job, right?
Yeah.
Now it's not like, now that's just like an added job. It's like we're working two jobs. And like, I mean, for the moms and women who are working more than two jobs, right? Like, because even the women who are still in their 9 to 5, they're trying to do their businesses and their children, like it's so much. And then, there's been so much being put on us that we just need to like take that step back and appreciate ourselves for all the hard work that we are doing,
Right.
and that there will never be anything like any perfect thing. Like, when you're looking at that other mom and you're just like, oh, she just has it all together. It's like, no, she doesn't. No, she don't.
Yeah. And I was just copying it to the mothers group because this conversation is getting interesting. So I was listening to you. But what I was trying to say is that my mom movement is now moving forward to create through the Mom Empowerment Foundation that the government firms or the corporate firms have to start writing entrepreneur, corporate, and mother, not other. Stop saying that mother part. A mother should be able to, very broadly stick. I'm a mother for some time. I'm neither an entrepreneur right now, not a corporate, but I am doing a very important job. So give me some grace. She could take entrepreneur mother. She could take corporate job mother, but don't just put other because the one who's not doing either feels left out, feels and that's what you're saying that it is very important for us to the times have changed and wherein I could learn driving from my uncle or my dad's friend or my dad's brother. Today the mother has to teach the cycling, the driving, the swimming. You dare not take somebody's child and teach them swimming without their permission, which was not especially in India. In our case, we could just go with our neighbors for a swimming lesson and like nobody had to really, oh, you just need the fees here, take them for swimming with your children, go ahead and do it. It's becoming so we're so terrified and we're so much full of fear that we're also not releasing our children out to anybody else because we're not sure where they're heading because of the fear that we are staying in. And I'm not saying we must, I'm fearful as well. It takes a lot of courage to let go and say, okay, you can teach my child something, that's all right, and that doesn't match mine, but maybe. But that courage, even for a 9-year-old, it takes me a lot. Even your teachers have to align to you, even your school has to align to you, your hospitals have to align, everybody has to align to you. You can imagine what's happening to the mother. Like everybody has to align to 100 kinds of mothers today.
And I mean, people want to bubble wrap kids now, and just it's like everything when it comes to, I mean, you can't say certain words anymore, and it's just like there's so much pressure, even just society, so much pressure put on society to be perfect. And it's like, can we all just give each other a little bit of grace and just like trust that every human out there is just doing their best at trying to be a good person, do the right things, and love each other like as humans versus like trying to put like everybody's trying to they're trying to put a label on something by removing labels.
Right.
Like, or remove labels and putting a label on something, it's like this total confusion that it's like you walk into a room on eggshells, like if you said the wrong thing. And I was just talking to women yesterday, and like you said, there's a lot of women who or people who are afraid now. And my belief, and I mean, yeah, the world has gotten, more dangerous in certain aspects, but a lot of it we just didn't know about, right? Because of social media, we know things now. In the past, like either you had to listen to the radio, you had to read the newspaper. That's how you found out about things. Now we're hearing about stuff over on the other side of the world like that. And then we're living in fear. And like with we have like 3 prisons where I live, and there's been people there who have been dangerous offenders like for years and years and years. Like there's a reason we had prisons way back when, right? I mean, these people didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's not a new thing, but we're living in fear. And I just, for me, it's even like with germs. I'm like, the other day my kid was like licking the bread bag, and my sister's like, don't do that. I'm like, germs are good for her. She's never sick.
Yeah, germs are very good for you, and it is becoming very. That's why I'm standing up for moms, because rather than, they just don't know, they don't have the direction sometimes, and it's a very tearing experience to become something in life and then to give it up and then go again in that direction, then give it up again, and third one is coming, give it up again. It's a very tearing you, because you're building it piece by piece, piece by piece, and then you go on under judgment. Oh my God, your child is playing Minecraft. Oh my God, the child. Oh my goodness, they're going to be into, and then the whole fear, that you're not going to be a good mother. That needs to get out, because there is no good mother. Everybody's trying. These times are different. We don't know how to maneuver because we were not raised like this. The way the world is evolving post lockdown, it's so fast that even we cannot like cope up with it. Forget these little babies and kids, and we're putting too much pressure of good, bad. I think education, personally, I feel is going to be it's going to be all gone. There'll be no education. People are going to start taking their kids out of this thing, because this cookie cutter doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work, and homeschooling is tougher than even sending them off. So we have a lot of layers of stuff, but unless the mother is solved within, she would not be able to make it and bring it for that. And that's why I like it, that the curiosity message that you're giving, the fact that show up with them, and the fact that keep changing, and the fact that I'm glad to hear germs are good, because I am like that. And like, that's what I'm saying, this is normal for me. I am not
Mhm.
embarrassed with this. This is my children's creativity. It's their Legos. And recently I heard, I not heard, because I'm studying a lot of. I have to, because I think now I've reached a state where whatever I knew about children is done. I need to learn something new. And somebody very smart, according to me, was very smart, said that children are supposed to be receivers for the first 8 to 10 years of their lives. They are just supposed to receive, because their brains are not developed to give. And we have put a 1 year old or a 2 year old, on a judgment to start to give back, give your discipline to us, give your time to us, listen to us, and give it back to us, rather than we giving it to them. They're supposed to receive, and then they're supposed to put it all together. And then when the brain develops, they will start giving it back to the world, or you, or to the others. But the receiving is so incomplete, that a 4 year old is judged, a 3 year old is judged. You're not walking, you don't get a star if you don't behave yourself. You're not a good child if you don't.
Well,
That's really driving me nuts now. And I'm okay if my children need my help in clearing this. Okay, they do not know how to do this at 3.5, and stop expecting them to give it back to you. Your
mhm.
time and your understanding, and what. And just before you say another thing, I was reading that when you're talking to children below 10, they do not understand logic. They are not listening to you logically. They only have hearts to listen to, and they're only listening to you emotionally. And you're saying, aren't you understanding? You're like, no, I'm not. and they dare not say they're not understanding, so I think we need to, like, these discussions will bring that. And over to you with that, and then I think I can go on for 2 hours with you right now, and
Right.
we have to wrap this
Um,
up.
well, and I mean, even with that, like I've stopped apologizing for the way my house looks some days. And I'm like, people come in, I'm like, I don't apologize anymore. I have a child. There's stuff everywhere. I'm an entrepreneur. Like that's how it is. But when it comes to, like you were talking about, like the receiving and that kind of thing, people taking kids out of like, and out of school and that, and it is, people want to cookie cutter everything. And I think structure can be good for children. But I know I had someone when my daughter was like, we were having the issues that we were with her, and she was 2 weeks old, and someone saying to me, you need to let your kid cry it out. I'm like, my kid is 2 weeks old. She is crying because there's something that she needs. Like,
Yeah.
she needs something from me to support her. And so I'm actually getting handed her right now.
Yeah,
So
welcome, Scarlett.
this was not planned. But anyway, so like, one of the biggest things I'll say to her is like, even though she can't like, she can't respond to me, it's like I'll ask the question when she's crying. It's like, how can I support you right now? And I mean, she doesn't have the answer for me, but it's like training myself to ask those questions. How can I support you right now? Like, what do you need from me? When she eats, I'll say to her, like, there goes my coffee. I'll say to her, like, what, like, how can, like, do you feel complete, instead of like trying to force food down her throat, like, letting her choose those things. So yeah.
Yep. Hi, Scarlett. How are you? Welcome to the show. Hello. Knows I'm a baby photographer, but absolutely making what you're saying is so true, and I'm glad to know you're like, walking on that path of understanding. Yeah, Scarlett. Yeah, she is, and you know they're just with us for a very short time. I my 3.5 years with my younger one has been sleepless nights on another level. He's already saying mama. You can see the mama is it's
Just both of us, yeah.
yeah. So I'll get a knock from there now. But maybe we'll have some more conversations, Brittany. Where can people find you? Because mine is Scarlett can be held. Mine will break the door right now, and you will not be able to speak at all. And I usually don't lock the door, but recently I have, because it'll be straight away without before completing. That's what I'm saying. They're nice when they're around you and in the thing. When they shut the door and switch off the thing, when they know how to do that, then it gets a little tough. So, where can people find you? And I am just in love with Scarlett now. Look at that. Look at the smash she's giving. So,
Yeah, so on Facebook, so I'm on Facebook with under Brittany Alysia. I'm on Instagram. I have Brittany Alysia on there as well. I definitely focus more on Facebook at the moment, but I am on Instagram. And then my podcast is called Make Life Your Bitch, and those are the best places to find me.
yeah, and I will be
On
sharing
my website, theindependentbossbabe.com.
just give me this copy paste. I'll put it in the comments. But I
Yeah.
am going to be sending this to the mums group. Mums are always busy, and they come at their own thing and see the replay. But this was a very interesting conversation, Brittany, and thank you for being you. And uh, when I entered in this world, even if you didn't know the mother side at that time so actively as you know today, you were being patient. So I think I'll publicly thank you for that, for all the madness that it brought. We will get in touch, and I can say she wants to start walking. So before my door is broken and she is off, I hope you didn't get hurt with the coffee. The coffee was not hot. Was the coffee hot?
It was warm, but I mean, no, it wasn't hot. Like I didn't jump or anything.
Yeah, her hair are very tasty. Right. I just feel like taking a screenshot. I'll take the screenshot later someday in the recording. Thank you, Brittany, for being who you are and constantly working. And I just love the way you're showing up with your mother. So this is a story of a mom who's manifested and is manifesting everything that's coming forward, even if it's very annoying and irritating sometimes, she's still going to do that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
seriously, and I'm going to put your stuff on the comments and also send it to the mothers group, and they will watch even if they don't reply, they all watch
Yeah,
many
perfect.
times. Yeah. So I'm going to stop the live now.